Hello. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes for our 9th annual Taste of the Garden fundraiser. I'm Andrea Tobin, Executive Director of Kid Power. For those of you unfamiliar with our programs, I wanted to give you a brief introduction. It's in our name, Kid Power. We believe in the tremendous power of our young people to transform their communities. Thus, with leadership at our core, we operate evidence-based programs for young people to grow academically, become informed and engaged citizens, and make healthy living decisions. We have a comprehensive after-school program, a one-on-one community-based mentoring program, a summer leadership academy, and even in-school health and wellness programs. But for now, I want you to see that in action. You'll see our young people excited to showcase everything they've learned, how they grow their own vegetables and cook their own recipes to deliver exciting food. We are also going to see our staff in action, and you'll see how they connect to our young people. Like many of you, over the last 18 months, I've come to really understand and embrace the power of community and connecting. At our core, Kid Power believes in the positive power of partnerships and how we can work together to make sure we are building a stronger, healthier, vibrant community. At the foundation of this is food. Many of us take for granted how food shapes our memories and our experiences, and tonight, food is front and center. It truly connects us. I've personally seen our students so excited to eat cherry tomatoes right out of their school garden. I've seen them excited to share their recipes that they've learned in their Kid Power classrooms and bringing them home. I've had parents come up to me excited to eat everything from kale chips to vegetable lasagna. It's truly exciting that our young people have the opportunity in our programs to learn a new skill and to be able to translate that skill back at home. That sense of confidence and enthusiasm is at the heart of Kid Power. All of this is possible because of our supporters like you. So since this is a fundraiser, I wanted to share a few housekeeping items with you. With the Katego app, you'll be able to click on the auction button. Here you'll be able to place your bids on some of the amazing prizes that local businesses have donated and for you to enjoy. We have raffle tickets. Click the Insta-Buy button and you'll be able to purchase tickets for some amazing prizes. Check those out. After each cooking demo, you'll see a vote button. Please make sure to vote on the best tasting dish. Throughout the program tonight, you'll see a donate button. Please use that to show your support of our student leaders and our programs. Please know that every dollar you support our programs with has a direct and positive impact on our students, our programs, and our entire community. And speaking of our student leaders, our co-founders, Max Skolnick and Caroline Scholl, founded Kid Power because they believed that as adults, we need to give young people their tools and then get out of their way. So tonight, I'm so excited and honored to be able to do just that. I am going to turn this over to our amazing co-host, Brooke Terrell. She's going to tell you all about how she started Kid Power programs as a student at J.O. Wilson and how she's continued to stay engaged through our new community-based mentoring program as a high school student. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Brooke.
My name is Brooke. I'm in the 10th grade. I first started Kid Power in 5th grade when I was 12, and now I attend McKinley Tech High School. Sometimes, like on a sunny day, we would go outside after school, after we did our homework, and we would just go on the playground, play games, and just socialize. Like just being able to be free after having a whole full day of just doing work and just being productive. My mother was getting a lot of emails from Kid Power, and then she came upon Mentors Inc. and she asked me that I want to be a part of it. And I was very hesitant about it, but then I started thinking like, maybe it'll be a good thing. Maybe something could be different. Something could happen. So I gave it a chance. Having a mentor is like having someone to talk to, like emotionally. I don't really like talking to a lot of people, so like it's good talking to someone and relating to someone. Me and Sarah want to cook together because like it's something different, and well, it's something I haven't tried before, and it'll be a new experience for me. And we relate to like being allergic to a lot of things, so like it would be good for us, especially cooking stuff that we can eat, so, and not having to depend on other people cooking for us. My favorite thing about Power Up was actually learning about financial things in life and how to stay safe in certain situations. So I felt like since I'm getting older, it was very helpful. You should get a mentor because like sometimes you may have friends that you feel like you can't trust or you can't talk to, and having a mentor can be that person that you can talk to about any situation, life choices, emotional stuff, or just school, anything in life.
Before we head into the kitchen, I want you to first join us in one of our school gardens. I'm excited to see what the students will be learning today.
Hello, my name is Corinna. I am the Food Corps service member with Kid Power here at J.O. Wilson Elementary School.
And I'm Samantha, the Food Corps service member with Kid Power at Stanton Elementary School.
Today, we are here at the J.O. Wilson Garden. We'd like to invite you to join us for a lesson with some of our very own J.O. Wilson scholars.
Come on in.
Welcome to the garden, everyone. So today we're doing a garden and harvesting themed scavenger hunt.
We're looking for red, we're looking for stems and leaves. So in this lesson, we're exploring the garden and the ideas of abundance and harvest through a scavenger hunt.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. I found an orange pepper.
So we're looking for all the colors of the rainbow, especially reds, oranges, and yellows, which are the colors of a lot of ripe fruits right now, like tomatoes, and then also looking for all the different plant parts.
Seeds. Where are we going to find the seeds at?
I'm just going to pick this. This is a stalk that has seeds on it. I'm going to rub it between my fingers. And look, you see those little dots?
Oh, those are seeds.
Those are the seeds. There you go. You found seeds.
It's a really great way to kind of go through and explore the garden, but it allows students the freedom to kind of look at the space in their own time and way. Yeah, Treasure, what did you see?
I saw a green pepper.
You saw green pepper. Nice. What did you see, Cherish?
I saw a red biscuit.
Hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yeah.
I saw a root.
Yeah, what kind of root did you see, Treasure?
Carrot root. I saw a carrot root.
So today, you saw a lot of things that are growing in the garden, and you noticed the peppers are particularly abundant. And there also is a lot of basil. So today, we're gonna harvest some of that. You can go ahead and, yep, that's exactly right. You can get a leaf of basil, and you can just go ahead and taste it.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's spicy. We'll get peppers for each of you. You can each take home a pepper.
Today we'll also be planting some seeds that we will then be growing in our greenhouse here at J.O. Wilson. So we've got some chioggia beets and some arugula that we'll be planting in little seed trays. And you all can follow along at home with your very own grow-at-home herb kits.
So we have our beets and our arugula. So we're gonna split up into two teams. So Miss Sam and Prince, can I have you two in charge of the beets?
Yes.
All right, and then Aaron and I are gonna be in charge of the arugula. And if you flip over the back of the seed packet, it's gonna tell you some important instructions. And today what we're looking for is planting depth. So ours is 1/4 and yours?
Ours is 1/2 inch.
All right, what we need to do is we need to press a little divot in each of these planter pots. That's about 1/4 of an inch deep. you're welcome to go ahead and pick up a little seed, and they're very tiny, but just go ahead and drop them in each of the holes that you made. All right, so the seeds are in the soil now. Do either of you know what we need to do next to help them grow?
Water them.
Exactly. Perfect.
Give them a little drink.
Nice.
Thanks for helping us plant these today. I'm gonna put these in our greenhouse here, and as they grow, I'll write a little tag on them and write a tag that says Aaron's arugula and Prince's beets. And another time in veggie time, I'll pull them out and you can see the seeds that you helped plant. Bye.
Bye.
That looked like so much fun. Today, we have some of our students will be learning the ABCs of cooking: arugula, beets, and carrots. I can hear the students' excitement as they are getting ready in the kitchen to make our appetizer. I cannot wait to see how it turns out. Remember, if you like the cooking demo, vote.
Hi everyone, my name is Miss Ariana and I am a Food Corps Americorps service member serving at Kid Power Inc. at Malcolm X Elementary School, and today I'm here to help make arugula pesto bruschetta with two of my sous chefs. My first sous chef is
Samir, and I'm in the 5th grade.
and then my second sous chef is
Natavian, and I'm in 5th grade too.
So the first thing that I want us to do is we're going to take our garlic cloves, and if you want to go ahead and put them in our food processor, we're going to get it blended. Yeah, keep it going. Good job. We're going to measure out 2 tablespoons of the walnuts. Pop it right in the food processor again. Go ahead and put it on low again. Now what I'm going to have you do is if you want to measure out 2 cups of arugula for us.
Okay.
Have you ever tried arugula before?
Yes.
Yeah? What did you think?
It had a weird aftertaste.
A weird aftertaste? But you said that it would taste good with some cheese, right?
Yes.
Well, that's perfect, because in our pesto, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese at the end. And then go ahead and pulse it up again. Okay, now we're just going to add a little bit of salt. Have you guys been cooking before?
Yes.
Yes, I've made shrimp Alfredo, and I've made spaghetti, and I've also made grilled cheese sandwiches.
Wow, I'm going to come over to your house for dinner. That sounds delicious. Okay, go ahead and put that in. Yeah, and you can make pesto with all kinds of different things. So if you don't have arugula, you can make it with basil, or if you're allergic to nuts, you can make it with sunflower seeds. So it's a very versatile spread. All right, now what I want you to do is measure out half a cup of olive oil. So go ahead and just slowly start to pour it. Make sure we get it nice and mixed up. Okay, we can turn it off. Go ahead and scrape the sides down. Okay, now that our pesto is made, why don't we grate our cheese? You want to go ahead and do that for me? And then while you're grating the cheese, why don't I have you start to chop up some of our tomatoes? What else do you like to cook at home?
I like making breakfast food.
Breakfast food, like what?
Eggs and like making waffles.
Uh-huh. What have you guys been learning so far with Kid Power?
Kid Power was actually our aftercare program, so many times we just do Kid Power Circle and academic
Power hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we have our cheese grated up and some of our tomatoes cut, we're gonna add our pesto to our cheese. We can take our butter knives, we can take a piece of bread, we can take some of our pesto and go ahead and spread it on the bread, just like this. And then we're gonna top it off with a nice tomato garnish. Was this fun?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy making it together?
I thought these were grapes.
You thought they were grapes? They do kind of look like grapes, but they're called cherry tomatoes. So again, we made the arugula pesto bruschetta, and this is our appetizer. And if you like what you see, go ahead and vote for our appetizer. And we hope you have fun cooking with us, and we look forward to cooking with you some more. Ready? Go ahead and take a bite. A little messy, but good, right?
Kid Power!
Wow, that looks delicious. I think that's something I could even try with my 2 young boys. I don't know about you, but I just love seeing our students in action, how they take pride in growing their own vegetables and bringing it into the Kid Power kitchen. I also love watching our staff and our students interact. Those social, emotional connections are always important. But now more than ever, as our young people adjust and re-enter schools after 18 months of a pandemic, those relationships are critical to help young people feel safe and secure. I'm so grateful we have an amazing team of instructors, Americorps and Food Corps. For those of you who don't know about Food Corps, it's a federally funded program that places service members in Title I schools throughout the country. We're privileged to have 4 full-time service members who help work in schools to integrate health and wellness into the entire school culture. They run cafeteria taste tests to help familiarize our young people with items they're going to be seeing on their plates for lunch. They run community wellness events, and they even have school wellness committees, which ensures that everyone from school administration to DCPS teachers and parents and even student leaders are involved in decisions affecting their school. I'm so excited you get to meet them tonight. They are not only just interested in working with our students, but they're interested in larger policy issues. We all know about food deserts. We all know that there are not enough resources in many of our areas throughout the city. When we started Veggie Time and we started the Food Corps program, we were often asked, aren't you worried about the backlash? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, you're basically telling people that they need to eat healthy and here's what they need to eat. And we said, we're not worried about that. And here we are 10 years later, and we're seeing when we engage our communities, when we talk about what our community needs, and we truly value that partnership, we're all stronger. Our collective knowledge is stronger. And so our Food Corps members are not only implementing these programs, but they're working to engage the community so that we can develop policies and practices that support entire wellness throughout the city.
A couple of years ago, there was nothing here on this ground except for grass. And since then, there have been all these trees and river smart grant and these garden beds that have become this incredible asset for the J.O. Wilson School and its students and the broader community. And this is an outdoor classroom for their students during the day, where they can come and learn what is basil, what does it taste like, what does it smell like. They can see a carrot pulled out of the ground. They can plant seeds and learn about the connection between what they eat in the classroom and where it comes from, here in front of their school. So it's an incredible asset both for families and for students, and it helps make the school a healthier place to be, because when kids spend time outside, everyone is better off. So I'm here at Food Corps because I wanted to see what it looks like to grow food in cities and connect it to kids, and to make the connection between the farm and the school and have that be part of education for kids. And so that's why I'm here at J.O. Wilson with Kid Power and Food Corps, growing food in these gardens so that the kids can taste it, can smell it, can try new things that they may not have known that they liked before. And after they eat it, suddenly here's a new fruit or vegetable in their repertoire of things that they like. One thing that I've learned from students since serving here at J.O. Wilson is the joy of watching something grow and encountering new things. I've spent a lot of time around plants, and there is an appreciation that grows when you become very familiar with something, but it's been a while since I've been reminded how miraculous and marvelous it is that we have these plants here in front of the school, these basil plants, these mint plants that are so fragrant and taste so good. And the joy of a student saying, whoa, that's a carrot, or I don't know what a beet is, and then seeing it growing out of the ground. Just the novelty and the joy of seeing kids interacting with the garden and the plants is something that I'm very grateful for and have learned in my time here.
It is my deepest pleasure and honor to introduce to you Chef Robert Wood. Robbie responded to a volunteer post to help make hot sauce with our young people 8 years ago. A few years later, I was seated next to him at a roundtable hosted by The Atlantic. After talking and knowing we cannot let good talent go too far, we roped Robbie in to join our board of directors. And throughout that time, he has shown up time and time again for our young people. He is one of the kindest, most authentic, most creative, brilliant people I know, and also one of the best chefs I've ever met. Robbie got his start in his hometown, Savannah, 20 years ago. And since he has moved to DC, he has found creative and inspiring ways to make sure the community works together to provide fresh and healthy food. At Kid Power, this past year in particular, he has shown up time and time again. He has helped our young people and our families who self-identified as food insecure by creatively engaging local businesses through a meal match program to make sure that for every meal purchased through his eco-catering business, one meal is donated to a Kid Power family. Tonight, you'll be able to see Robbie in action as our moderator, and I'm so excited for you to get to know him.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Andrea, for that warm welcome. As she said, my name is Robbie Wood, and I appreciate everyone being here this evening, especially our guests. As she said, I've been on the board of directors for a few years. I started off as a volunteer at Kid Power years ago, and I own a couple of catering companies here in DC. And it's just a joy to be able to leverage some of the resources we have to really drive home such a great message that Kid Power provides for the community. On behalf of the Kid Power Board of Directors and Executive Director Andrea Tobin, I would like to welcome our guests and our panelists for our second community conversation. These community conversations are critical because we bring different stakeholders to the table to discuss critical conversations in the field of youth development, health, wellness, civic engagement, social justice, and it helps us deepen our collective knowledge so that we can better serve our community. It's very important to Kid Power to have these conversations so that we are aware of the concerns of our community and that we hear directly from them. That's the only way that we feel we can be a vital resource and in support of those that we serve. So before we jump into our discussion, I want you to know that if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. We will get those questions to me, and we can either ask them of our panelists, or you can ask them of me. Either way, so please feel free to put the questions in there. And now I would like to introduce our guest speakers who will be contributing to our discussion on food insecurities, resources, and what we can do as a community. So Dr. Beverly Wheeler, she is the director of DC Hunger Solutions. She is responsible for leading the efforts to improve public policies to end hunger, reduce poverty, promote nutrition, and increase the availability of healthy, affordable food in low-income areas. She maximizes participation in all federal programs and educates the public about the stark reality of hunger that exists in our nation's capital and the real opportunities we have for effective solutions. Dr. Wheeler has over 30 years of experience in all phases of public and private sector policy development. She has 20 years of experience working with the DC government alone. On the DC Council as the executive director of the State Board of Education and Neighborhood Action. She serves as the chief of staff to Phil Mendelson, as well as the special assistant to 3 city administrators. She is the former president and CEO of Center City Public Charter Schools. So we are honored to have her here with us this evening, as well as Ronnie Webb, who's the president and co-founder of Green Scheme. Ronnie stands at the forefront of educating disadvantaged communities on developing and implementing USDA food system projects. He consults on behalf of businesses and organizations to adapt more sustainable methods. And Ronnie has over 10 years of experience in the environmental sector. While he was serving as an intern for DC Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, Ronnie became certified as a green consultant. And following his internship, he was offered a fellowship with the Hip Hop Caucus Education Fund. That opportunity helped him shape a platform in the environmental movement on the East Coast with a focus on DC and Greensboro, North Carolina in particular. So thank you both for joining us this evening. Kid Power appreciates your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Hey, Dr. Wheeler.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it.
So if you don't mind, Ronnie, I'm going to lead off with Dr. Wheeler. I'm going to kind of set you up each up with a couple of questions so y'all can tell us more about your work. So Dr. Wheeler, could you please, can you discuss the food insecurities in DC and how DC Hunger Solutions plays a role in creating policy change to remedy these issues?
So first of all, the government defines food insecurity as not a lack of consistent access for enough food for a happy, active, healthy life. Oof. So you need to know that in DC, we're #1 in senior food insecurity in the nation, and that close to 24% of our children under the age of 18 live in poverty. And that's just unacceptable in the nation's capital. So we want to, at DC Hunger Solutions, we want the highest and best use of all the federal nutrition programs. We believe if you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, then you can indeed spend the resources that you have getting an education, finding housing, doing healthcare. So we do a lot of policy. We know that SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Program, doesn't last all month. So we work on giving SNAP a raise. We helped pass the Healthy Schools Act and the Healthy Tots Act, which ensure that all children in public schools, whether they're traditional or charter schools, get breakfast. We worked on the WIC Expansion Act. We know that a number of our WIC participants live in wards 7 and 8, where there are not a lot of places for them to work, to be able to spend their benefits. So we work a lot on that. And we have a toolkit on our website where you can look at all the federal nutrition programs.
Wow, that's quite a dense body of work. Can you discuss a little bit more about the term food desert? And let's talk about grocery store access per ward, because, you know, accessibility is everything. I always believed when I was working in these kinds of communities, like, there's no reason to teach about foie gras when you don't have access to, you know what I mean? Like, we have to really tune the information to where we're, you know, headed. So can you talk about that a little bit and give our audience a little bit more information around food deserts?
Well, first, we don't use the term food deserts. It gives people the impression that there's nothing going on in these communities, and we know that is absolutely not true. And your viewers know it's absolutely not true. We call them underserved communities, and they're underserved mainly because of some structural racism that's been going on. So we look at that. We do a grocery store report every 5 years, and I'm just going to go with, in wards 7 and 8, there are 3 grocery stores between them. In wards 3 and 6, there are 30 grocery stores between the 2 of those wards. Grocery stores aren't everything, and they're not the answer, But not having a grocery store makes it hard for you to use your federal nutrition benefits and have access to healthy, affordable food. So grocery stores play an important role, but not the only role.
And I appreciate you, highlighting the power of words there, because it certainly shapes the way we look at topics and the way we work through them. So I appreciate that. Can you talk a little bit more about, I have highlighted here lunch shaming and meals in school. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
So we believe that if children aren't fed, you can't learn. You know how you feel when you haven't eaten. So we want to make sure that all our children are getting breakfast, lunch, and even after school meals. Many of our children, after school is really important because many of our children eat lunch around 11:30, and they may not get another meal again until breakfast the next morning. So currently, all children, either in a traditional or charter public school, should be getting free breakfast and lunch. It's part of the government's COVID response. If you're not being offered free lunch, free breakfast and lunch, ask your administrator what's going on. If they don't give you an answer, call us. We'll find an answer for you. We also, their after-school programs are eligible for federal funding. Let's help you make sure you get some of that. Don't forget what is called PEBT. It's pandemic EBT. When the schools were closed, many of our children didn't get the usual school meals or breakfast or lunch. So money was given to the parents in order for them to buy food in the neighborhoods or wherever they chose to do that. That is in effect until 2021, and you can check with the Department of OSSI and the Department of Human Services, and I will leave you the telephone number that you can call to find out what's going on. It also provides food for children under the age of 6 who are in a child care setting can also get some of this funding. So we want to make sure our kids are getting fed.
That's all great information, Dr. Wheeler. Thank you so much. We're going to switch gears to Mr. Ronnie Webb now. Ronnie, I'm so interested in your story, and I would love to hear, why did you start the Green Scheme, and what are your goals? It seems like you have lofty goals, and I really love hearing about that.
Yes. Let's fast forward. Let's rewind. So I'm a graduate of School Without Walls High School in DC. And so I ended up going to school. While I was in School Without Walls my senior year, I had an internship by a mentor of mine who had a nonprofit organization called EGOS, Education, Goals, Opportunities, and Sports. What he did was he worked with at-risk kids in the city and got us into private schools through sports. Basketball mainly, basketball and football, but mainly basketball was sort of like his thing with his organization. And so he got me to a school called Beuker School, which is in Massachusetts. I went there for a school year, and then I ended up, this was my 11th grade year, I ended up going to School Without Walls to graduate. So just giving you that context, it shows you that I had somebody around me who kind of explained what a nonprofit organization was at a fairly, I look at it at a fairly pretty young age, 16, 17, and going through that and seeing how his lifestyle was, seeing how he was able to help people and make money doing it. I was like, I just thought it was something cool that I would want to get into. And so I ended up going to School Without Walls. I remember filling out I'm not School Without Walls, North Carolina A&T, and I remember filling out the application, business management, Hampton University, business management. And North Carolina A&T was the school I ended up going to, but the second major that I chose was agricultural business. And I really ain't have no clue what agricultural business was. When I was checking, I was like, oh, this is a good backup. It sounds like it's some money, right? So I can make some money doing this. And so ended up going to school, ended up loving the small classes, loving my advisors, so just stayed and stuck it out. And then when I came back home to DC, it was like I didn't really know what to do with it. You know, I was taking classes on a farm in Greensboro. I was, seeing people grow their own foods, but I wasn't seeing farms in DC. And so I was like I just grew with that culture, I think, going to school there, studying it. And so I was like, man, I applied for 100 job applications for the USDA. And I did get like one interview. I might have got one interview, one phone interview, and I couldn't understand why. I had a degree in agricultural business. And so I just started to put two and two together. And it's funny, Dr. Willer, you may know him, Xavier Brown. He graduated from high school with me and college with me. And so we were all sitting in one of our buddies' basement, and I was like, man, telling them about my frustration with the USDA. And we just sat there and just like, man, we're gonna start our own USDA, being funny, exaggerating, but with the concept of just being vegan cool, or going out, growing your own food cool, because as a city kid, I didn't get a chance to experience that. So I wasn't really into any like 4-H programs. So I didn't have, I wasn't exposed to Boy Scouts and different things like that. And so, I just thought like, man, I wish I would have had more time to like really embrace this and teach the kids this. And so Greenskin really just started with one community garden in the community that I'm from, Langdon Park, which is in Ward 5, and us doing a workshop. But we knew we wanted a structure behind it. So to wrap this story all the way up really quickly, the USDA, about a year and a half later, they gave us a grant, USDA NIFA Community Foods Grant for $114,000 when we were roughly about 2 years old. And so it just showed me that I chose the right track and just in the work that I do. And so it's really rewarding. And we have a huge team behind us, a lot of support, people that have been on the journey with us and have a solid handprint on the organization and have done some great stuff.
I can really appreciate that trying to make vegetables cool. As a chef, that's part of our job is to be ambassadors for food. And it's never been easier than part of what I do is feed professional athletes. And so anytime I'm in front of a bunch of kids and I can't quite get them interested in carrots, I'd say, hey, you know what Alex Ovechkin eats? Or, last time I was feeding Bradley Beal, and then all of a sudden they get a little quiet and they're more attentive and more receptive. So I can certainly appreciate that kind of swagger that is needed to get kids to open their ears a little bit. Let's talk about Don't Mute My Health. Tell us what it is, and let's talk about the impact that it's having.
For sure. So Don't Mute My Health is a coalition that we started. It was a group of us, Stuart Anderson and myself, one of the co-founders. Dr. Willer is on our coalition, is one of the leaders and advisors and consultants to helping us connect the dots, and especially gaps in policy in areas where I may not be that strong in, or other people on the team aren't that strong in. We really had a strong coalition of experts who really sat down with us. And what we saw was that the issue started over giving the community a voice in the health sector. So our mission is, it's a grassroots movement that gives the community the power to reclaim their own health, right? And so what we do with that is we meet folks exactly where they are. So what we did was we organized 10, underneath our Don't Mute My Health umbrella, we organized what we call Don't Mute My Health ambassadors, right? And these ambassadors were people in the community who were doing work in the health related field, in the food field. They could be chefs, they could have gyms, they could be somebody who's doing youth development, but somebody who's pretty strong in their lane and who had a mission to keep people healthy like we are. And so we brought them on as ambassadors, and we tasked them with the idea of throwing a rally. So each one of our ambassadors do a community rally. When we say rally, the rally is somebody, it could be like Dr. Willer up there. It could be like Dr. Yolandra Hancock, who's a pediatrician who has her own practice also, who, could give the parents direct information. You're talking to a doctor who's trusted. But not only did it do that, it also gave like Jillian Griffin is another one for the in-store nutritionist at Giant in Ward 8. But what it did was it gave people like myself, people like Dr. Willer, people like Jillian, it gave us an opportunity to get in front of our crowd. A lot of times, you have doctors and pediatricians, and you got all these community experts who sometimes don't have a bridge to get back, or don't have a platform or that type of healthy space to engage back into the community that they were in. And so we got very powerful, very fast. And from there, we were able to sort of support different campaigns that were going on in our community that were health related. We did some work with a campaign called My Trade My Way with DC Public Schools. We have a prison food conversation series going on right now, where we started a coalition behind that. But we pushed a lot of other things. We pushed even some of the public safety and violence pieces, the health, the holistic living piece. And so we just got very organized, and it's a very great platform and space to really get the community's voice heard and to support anything positive that we feel like is a priority health-wise to the community.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so, you know what I love about it, and what I love about I'm hearing from Dr. Wheeler, and what kind of ties the two of you into what we do at Kid Power so beautifully, is that one of the things we strive for in Kid Power is empowering the children to be their agents of change in their community, and giving them tools to design the life that they seek. And that's exactly what I'm hearing from both of you is it's not about it's about giving people the tools to get to the life they want. It's not about, anything else besides that. And so I applaud you both and appreciate y'all both taking some time out tonight to have this conversation with us and help add value to the Taste of the Garden, our 9th annual here at Kid Power. It's a fun event that we do every year, and y'all certainly have added a lot of depth to it. So thank you very much. Y'all have a lovely evening. So next up, excuse me, we're gonna be getting on to Chef Kevin Tien. He's our featured chef this year. Kevin Tien oversees culinary operations at the Intercontinental in Washington, D.C. and the Wharf. As the new executive chef at the helm of his modern Vietnamese restaurant, Moon Rabbit. He infuses his cultural awareness of regional American ingredients into his cooking style and modern techniques. His recipes speak to his past while showing his aspirational future and his current state of mind, a continuous evolution. Most recently, Chef Tien was recognized as one of the 10 young chefs shaping Washington's dining future. Chef Tien's dining room at Moon Rabbit serves as a canvas for his life experience as well as his heritage. His heritage inspires his cooking and his creative spirit today. So we're excited to have his support, and my staff was very fortunate to prepare all of the food for you this evening, and we prepared his beets and barley dish and added an herb grilled chicken so that you can enjoy the entree this evening. So with that said, y'all enjoy Chef Kevin Tien's beets and barley.
Hi, I'm Chef Kevin Tien of Moon Rabbit here in Washington, D.C. Our restaurant's located in the Wharf neighborhood, and today I'm going to be making a dish with the letter B, beets, and our dish is beets and barley. So one of my favorite things about beets is they're like very earthy, but I think a lot of people don't like beets, probably because of that earthiness, or they haven't had it cooked the right way in texture. One of my favorite things to do is actually to roast things. You get a nice soft inside that's not too soft, but you get a nice like textured, roasted, crispy outside. So let's start with our beets. You're gonna have about 1.5 to 2 pounds of beets. What we're gonna do is we're gonna peel it and then cut it into half moons like you see here on the sheet tray. So for example, I'll just do one for the sake of movie magic. I'm taking the tops and the bottoms off of this beet. And then with the peeler, I'm gonna peel the beets. For this, if you want as well, grocery stores do sell beets that are pre-peeled in the can. But if you have beets in your garden, good way to do it. You can use any color beets you want, red or yellow. Yellow tends to have a nice, sweeter flavor to it. Now that we have our beet peeled, tops and bottoms trimmed, I'm gonna slice it right in half. And then we're gonna cut these into half moons that are about 1/4 inch thick. You're gonna take these, season them with olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper if you want. You're gonna line them up on a sheet tray, and drizzle it with olive oil. And then you're gonna bake these in an oven at 400 degrees for 25 minutes. So, movie magic, put it in your oven, 25 minutes later, ding. You'll take them, and you're gonna flip the beets, and you'll cook them for another 20 minutes. So in the oven they go. 20 minutes later, they come out. And then you'll get nice, beautiful roasted beets that'll look like this. So here I have about 4 cups of water at a boil. There's a ½ tablespoon of salt in here because I like to season the water. And then we have about a cup of barley. Barley is a great grain, very cost efficient, very filling, very healthy. So you're gonna put these into your boiling water. You'll let these come to a boil, reduce it down to a simmer, and then you'll cover the top. And then in about 30 minutes, the barley should feel tender, but it still has like a nice bite to it. You'll drain the barley out like you normally do pasta. Once it's fully drained, you can transfer it to a bowl or a plate and keep it lightly covered. Here, we've already transferred our barley into our serving platter. All right, now that we're done with our barley, I'm really big into texture on a lot of my dishes. So you have the nice bite of the barley, of an al dente pasta, the nice roastiness of a beet, but I love a lot of crunch. So here you can use any seed, any kind of crushed peanuts, almonds, walnuts, and then what you'll do is you'll toast it lightly in a pan till you get some color. Here we have sunflower seeds. I've toasted already. You can also do it in the oven, but it's really putting it in a pan till it gets nice golden brown, and then you have the nice nutty smell of whatever you're toasting. You're going to constantly stir it so it gets nice and delicious. All right. And then when this is done toasting it, you'll transfer it back into another little sheet tray or a bowl for it to hold on the side. And while that holds, we can make our salad dressing. It's a very simple dressing. Big fan of garlic. You have your minced garlic here. Throw that in a bowl. Olive oil. You can use any kind of neutral flavored oil if you don't have olive oil. Grapeseed works well as well. Here I have a little bit of honey for sweetness. There are other substitutes that you can use. If you are vegan, I recommend using agave, which works as a great sweetener. You know, it's nice in fall. Some people like the maple flavor. You can use maple syrup as well, which also works great. And then here I have Chinese black vinegar, but you can use any other vinegar that you'd like. So my next go-to would be a nice balsamic. That's what a lot of people like to use in their salads at restaurants. It's not too far off from the flavor profile that goes really well in beets. Once you get in a bowl, kind of just mixing everything together. Once it's nice and mixed, we're actually going to add our roasted beets to this to kind of toss them. These smell great. So once you get your beets nice and mixed in the dressing, give it in a few toss, and then you're gonna go ahead and just plate it over your barley. Just make some nice healthy dish for up to 4 people. I always like a lot of aromatics with my food. So we got the beets over the barley. And here you can really use anything you like. I'm a big fan of green onions and cilantro. You got parsley. Parsley works great. We'll garnish with some sliced green onions on this dish. Some nice cilantro on top. And then finally we have our toasted seeds. We'll add to the dish. Dinner's done. It's healthy, it's delicious, has a lot of great flavors and fun textures. Thanks for watching our cooking demo today. Thank you for continuing to support our local community and engaging our youths and providing them a better future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chef Tien. That was amazing. Did you vote? If not, here's the perfect time to do so.
When I first read about our next guest, I was blown away and deeply inspired. He was the perfect candidate for our 2021 Excellence in Leadership Award. His commitment to building a stronger community, his leadership, and his passion for food and nutrition made him our obvious winner. So it's exciting tonight to introduce to you Mark Beuker. He is the co-owner of Medium Rare, a highly acclaimed and iconic restaurant serving DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Named one of the top 10 best steakhouses by USA Today. When the COVID crisis first began, Mark saw a need. He saw that families were trapped inside their homes without enough food to eat. Since March 2020, he was determined to make meal security a reality. First in his local hometown, DC, and then throughout the nation. He launched Feed the Fridge. He places refrigerators in community centers, recreation centers, and schools, and pays restaurants to stock these refrigerators with up to 100 meals a day. Mark was awarded the 2021 Rammy Good Neighbor Award for his commitment to eliminating hunger and making sure that everyone who needs a meal gets a meal. In fact, since the program began, they've distributed 80,000 meals in our nation's capital. How did he do that? By making sure meals were available every day, every night, weekends, and especially the holidays. He truly exemplifies leadership and inspires all of us here at Kid Power. It is my deep honor to present him with this award, and I hope he inspires you as much as he's inspired us.
Hi, my name is Mark Beuker. I'm the co-founder of Medium Rare Restaurants and the founder of Feed the Fridge, and I'm honored and delighted to be with you all this evening virtually. It's really a privilege to be recognized and remembered for all the work we've done and we continue to do to make sure that kids in the DC area have access to nutritious, healthy, restaurant-prepared meals, which is our approach to really solving hunger. We're making sure that children that are growing, whether they're playing sports or they're academically challenging themselves, to make sure they get nourishing meals that simply keep them from being hungry for 4 to 6 hours or even longer, and making sure their parents don't have to worry about their meals and giving them the opportunity to perform better in sports, to do better in school academically, and also do better being involved in their community. Hunger really slows all of that down. When you're hungry, it's hard to really be good at anything because all you're really concentrating on is where your meal's coming from. So Feed the Fridge puts refrigerators in our communities and we fill them with meals every day. No sign-ups, no questions. If you're hungry, grab a meal. We did this when COVID first started. When the kids were doing remote school, there was no school lunches. So we wanted to make sure they got fed. We were the only ones that were thinking about this in the early days of COVID. The school districts were more worried about virtual, in-person, curriculum, technology to be virtual. We were worried about how kids were going to eat. Today, through the benefits of the CARES Act, kids are getting multiple meals at schools now, but there still are gaps in kids' nutrition, especially for those that do after-school sports or after-school activities. When they're done their after-school activities and they go back to the school to get their meals to take home, they're gone. Schools close at 3:30, 4 o'clock, the lunchrooms close. These kids are done at 5:30 or 6. There's no food to bring home. It's a gap in the programs, and we aim to fill that gap by making sure they have meals to bring home. So we're working really hard on doing that now with a bunch of community partners. We obviously need more, feedthefridge.org, but we're not going to stop. We found this need during COVID. It hasn't lessened up at all. Our approach is to solve hunger, not just put a Band-Aid on it, with our kids, with our families, and our neighborhood partners to make sure that everyone gets nourishment in a dignified manner. So I am grateful for Kid Power to recognizing and realizing what we've done, giving us this incredible boost, an opportunity to let others know what Feed the Fridge is and what they can do to help us do more in our communities. So I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm humbled. We will present and brag about the award you all have generously given us, and we're grateful. Thank you, stay safe and healthy.
Basically, Kid Power is an after-school program. We'll go upstairs to Miss McNeely's room. Then we'll do our homework in Kid Power hour. Then when we're done with snack, we'll go upstairs. We'll do a quick Kid Power circle, which is basically when we're in a circle and we have a question and we answer the question. And then after that, we'll get our stuff and go downstairs and just play outside until we all get dismissed. I've learned about different types of planting, I've learned about different types of fruits, vegetables, and all sorts of stuff. Like last time we went into the garden on Tuesday, Miss Karina let me take home an eggplant. I didn't think I would actually like the eggplant, but I ended up doing it. My favorite time was probably the time where we were, the question was who can whistle the longest, so we all whistled, and I was the one who could whistle the longest. 1 minute, that's a long time. Grab a friend, bring him in, and let Harambe begin. Yeah, Kid Power.
This evening has been so much fun, but it is not over yet. Time for the best part of the evening, dessert. I cannot wait to see what type of dessert our young chefs will prepare for us.
Hi everyone, we're back with another cooking demo. My name is Miss Hannah and I'm the Food Corps Americorps service member at Barnard Elementary, and I'm back with my amazing sous chefs, Samir and Natavian. And we are gonna make some delicious carrot cake cookies today. You already saw the demo on the arugula pesto bruschetta, and now we have our lovely, lovely dessert. So are y'all ready to get cooking?
Yes.
To get bacon? Awesome. So we're gonna start by putting some butter into a bowl. And Natavian, while Samir does the butter, you can take the flour and put it into this other bowl here. And we have our oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, ready for our cookies to go in. We also have our sugar. We have two types of sugar, right? We have white sugar and brown sugar. So do you want to help me pour those in here with the butter? 1, 2, 3, go.
Pour the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Samir told me he was the strongest one, so it's gonna take some serious muscle to mix up this butter and sugar. All right, and Natavian, we are also gonna add to our flour our little spice blend. Do you wanna read in it?
1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt.
All right, let's dump that in there. Perfect. What's your favorite type of cookie, you know?
Chocolate chip, Oreos.
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate
I
chip.
like soft chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, when they're really soft. I think these will be really soft cookies too, with a lot of butter in there. Do you want to help me start grating these carrots? So do we want to start adding our eggs in?
Eggs, yes. Can I do it?
Yes, you can. So you're gonna crack the egg one at a time, and then put your finger.
Oh, geez.
That's okay.
First time cracking an egg.
First time cracking an egg.
Watch and learn, children.
Ooh, all right. But we made it in with no shell.
Yeah.
So that's the good news.
I'm
All right,
expert.
I'll take that. And while you're mixing it all up, I'm going to add our vanilla extract into there. That smells so good, right? Can you smell it?
No, it actually smells like a cinnamon bun.
It smells really good, right?
My mom said it was like a tradition that they made cinnamon rolls every Sunday morning and every winter holiday.
That's a really amazing tradition. Why don't we add our flour mixture into here? Pour it in super slowly.
Come on, sous chef too.
Yeah.
Sous chef too.
Yeah,
I am number
you're
one.
second in command.
I can crack an egg.
All right, so while she is mixing, Samir, do you want to grab our oats?
Deploy!
Honey bunches of oats.
Do you want to grab the coconut? And Natavian, do you want to dump the raisins in? And I'm going to get the carrots too. Woo! Isn't this looking so beautiful? The color is awesome,
Getting
right?
harder to mix though.
It is getting harder to mix. This looks pretty good. What do you think? Should we ask the audience at home?
How do you think?
We can't hear you, but your opinion matters.
Now we are going to scoop it out onto our tray and we're going to bake it. All right, so let's take our cookies now that they're on the tray and we're going to put them in a 350-degree oven for 15 to 18 minutes until they smell really good and look really beautiful.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
It's time to go. And we're back.
And we're back with our baked cookies. They've been in the oven for about 15 minutes. What do you think? How did they look?
They look good.
They look really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you made them by hand, so they're gonna taste
They
even
look like
better.
honey Cheerio oatmeal cookies.
Yeah, kinda. All right, should we take a bite
Yeah.
and try them?
Yeah.
It tastes like fall, right? With all the cinnamon and the carrots and the oatmeal. I think they're super yummy. And I'm so impressed that we did it all by hand. All right, so today we made our carrot cake cookies. They were super delicious and taste like fall. If you liked this recipe, you should definitely go vote for it. I'm Hannah, and these are my sous chefs.
Samir.
And Natavian.
And thanks for watching, everyone. I am so impressed.
I want to thank Miss Andrea for letting me join her tonight as her co-host and Miss Caitlin with the Mentors Inc. at Kid Power program for this opportunity. This has been a fun night. Before I send it back to Miss Andrea, all auction and raffle winners will receive notification from our team on how to receive your items. Also, after the program, join us on social media to see the results of your voting and how much we raised tonight.
Before we go, who's the winner?
Wow, what a night. I am so proud of our team for being able to deliver this amazing program to your homes tonight. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Before we move on and close out, we cannot end without thanking everyone who made tonight possible. Our amazing staff, our frontline instructors, our Americorps, our food corps, our interns, our senior program staff, Martina and your vets, our fearless and bold development team who came up with this creative virtual fundraiser, our moderator, Robbie, and my amazing co-host, Brooke. Of course, our advisory board and our board of directors also had a role, not only in making important decisions about Kid Power, but helping out with this fundraiser as well. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful. At Kid Power, I think I've mentioned how much we believe in partnerships. So tonight you'll see some of our amazing partners listed. Please take note, these partners have stood up and shown up to make sure that we provide the resources to you and to our programs. Like many of you during this pandemic, I think we have stopped saying, I'm waiting to find the light at the end of the tunnel, and we have found the light in the tunnel. And I can't thank all of you all enough, our virtual guests, for being that light. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much for showing up tonight, for being a part of our programs, not only just funding our work, but making sure that your voice is incorporated into our programs. We always believe that we're stronger when we listen to our community. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or want to learn more or have some ideas to make our programs better and more impactful. We truly rely on you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do, and thank you for being with us tonight.
So have y'all been having fun at Kid Power?
Yes.
Yes. And I've met a lot of celebrities in my life, so.
Really?
Yeah, I've met John Lewis.
Who?
I've met a famous football player.
Beyonce?
Have you met some cool friends in Kid Power?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes.